Hi, I'm Stephen Hand from Archery Supplies. Today I want to talk about the Bicaster sight pin. So I've been using this for about I'm going to say 3 weeks. So I want to tell you how it went, what I thought of it, and my findings, and we'll just discuss sight pins. So the first thing I struggle with is seeing the target. Now you might say it's my eyes or whatever, but the sight pin is really, really important. Because what I find when I'm struggling to see is I'm thinking when I'm making the shot, am I aiming in the middle? Okay, so if I have bright sun conditions, so the target's lit up, there's nice light on me, my scores are generally up, when I say 10 rating points, up around 10%. Okay, it's very substantial if I've got good light. If I've got poor light, my scores are down. Okay, there's no exception ever to that rule in my experience. Okay, now some people say it's alignment and all that. Now for me, some of it's about I release bad shots because I'm thinking maybe I didn't aim in the middle. All right, so the sight pin for me is an issue, and it's been an issue for me literally since I've been shooting, whether you're shooting scopes for compound or these things for pins for recurve. Now I've shot very well with just a standard pin that comes with the sight. Okay, so that's where I'm going to start. But then these fancy things came out, fancy sight pins, and we've all been trying those. So I want to talk about the dicuss. It comes in 2 fiber optics, red and green. I tried green. That's green. I tried that. I believe, after testing, I believe red stands out better than green on the target. Okay, I'm not sure that's the case for all the people in all conditions, on field and target. For me, I think red's better. Okay, after trying both colors, red is better. Okay, so that's my thing. Now, sometimes pin sizes come in 2 sizes, sometimes in more. 0.19 and 0.29. 0.29 is a thicker pin size. Okay, so bigger pin means it's easier for you to see, but it's going to gather more fiber optic light. Your sights like Axel, this is an Axel, that's an Axel, come in 2 or 3 sizes. This one I've put in is 0.29. I'm hopefully scroll up to it. Now, I used a 0.19 last year at the Nationals in green. I was having trouble seeing. So this year, they're $200 to try them out or more, and sometimes Shrewd is even more expensive. So it's a huge risk that it won't pay off. So anyway, right. So we're on to the dicuss. The dicuss Bicaster. Right. So the first thing after about 2 weeks, this sight thread, this here, came loose from the thread here. Now on some sites you'll see on the XL there's a bolt to hold it together. Now that can still come loose. Everything can come loose. When you shoot, you've got lots of vibration coming through the bow. The bow's all vibrating, it's shaking around. So this coming loose is, I would say, not a surprise to me. It's things come loose, bolts come off your bow. That is not warranty. Right? It's just vibration. The higher poundage you shoot, the more force you put through, the more vibration. There's things you can do to reduce vibration. You can put limb savers on your bow, rubber on your bow to reduce vibration. Okay? So if vibration's a problem and things are vibrating loose, put rubber on your bow. Limb savers are fantastic. Dampeners on your stabilizers, bits of rubber basically. Right? So now, I Loctited that in, okay? I Loctited it in and it didn't come loose, right? So Loctite's a thing that you use. If you use too much of it, you'll never be able to get the thread loose. If you use too little of it, it might come loose again, right? So Loctite fixed. Right, then I'm shooting for another week and the thread snaps off. So it snapped off exactly at that point there. Now, I'm old enough in archery to remember scopes snapping off. That rod snapped off. It was an issue for compound shooters. Less of an issue for recurve shooters because recurve shooters basically had no weight here. the more weight you put here, so the bigger scope, the more likely it is to snap. So then what happened with the evolution of archery? People used to put bolts all the way down here to stop the vibration, to reduce the chances of it snapping. That literally did work. But it was a problem, them snapping off, because the vibration just comes through and it just basically is vibrating like that and it just snaps. This is what happened with this. It's the first time I've seen a recurve do it, but my belief is it does occur for recurves because there are recurve pins with a solid body. Okay, Axel have them. So I'm like, well, that it is a thing. So it makes me wonder about going to a solid body. So I'm going to say that in my 3 weeks of using it, the Bicaster has three wraps of fiber here. Other sites have 2. So this is the XL, $200 odd. It has 2. Bicaster has 3. dicuss has 2. Other ones have 2. Right. So I found this a little bit more. I found this brighter than the others. Okay. So I did like it. Okay. I found the pin really easy to see. I really liked it. Liked it as a sight. Okay. So then I'm like, now I will say that this sight does come with a dampener that you put on the back of it. I didn't put the dampener on the back of it. Fivix also have dampeners for the back of their sight pins to reduce the vibration going through the thread. I did not add it. Okay, so I don't know if it would have been avoided or just delayed the inevitable. Okay. Now the other thing I will mention is I was using this Axel sight here. And as I said, it snapped off just there. The other Axel sights might be different. Okay, when I say different, there's different varieties of these. This is the later model, so it locks in the middle, so I'm going to suggest there's more of a gap on the edge here. Okay, but if you bolt fill this with threads, I'm suggesting it won't snap off. But okay, so my findings are I really like the Bicaster sight pin. I prefer it in red. If you're shooting a light poundage bow, you're probably not going to have it snap off. If you should think about putting a bolt on here just to lock it. And then I'm thinking, well, maybe, so the longer this is out, the more vibration you get. So then I'm thinking, well, maybe I should add a few bolts here to eliminate that. So I do like this. These are low cost. Now, so just on that, then I fitted the Axel, which is about a $200 one, which is, I'm kind of like. I think this is lighter than this, so I think this will be less likely to snap off. Okay. But I find them pretty much the same. So 200 and probably around 25 bucks. I'm going to guess maybe 30 bucks. Anyway, I'll leave you with that. So the questions I can think of. Well, if I replace this with another thread, would it be less likely to snap? I think all the threads are the same. You can get, I do have 832 stainless. I assume this is 832 stainless. I mean, it's worth trying. Replacing it to 832 stainless, you can just buy those on eBay. Or you'd have to pad it out, okay, with little nuts. If they snap, if you want to fit this. I think this will be less likely to do it. And I'm going to say again that these problems I'm experiencing, I shoot 51 pounds and I shoot a lot. So for a person who shoots 30 pounds, you'll probably never see this. Okay, so for most people, you'll never see it. It'll never be an issue. I'm just speaking about my experiences of trying the different sight pins and what happened with this one, because that's unusual. I've never had a sight pin snap before. And I don't blame Bicaster. I'm not saying that because I sell Bicaster. This is a common issue. It's been a common issue all through archery since I was a kid. So 40 odd years, these things have been snapping just through vibration and bolts come loose. It's just part of it. You've just got to try and fix things and they don't come loose. I'm going to say to finish an archery event, if you finish an archery event without injury, without your bow falling apart, it's actually a win, right? It's not that bows fall apart very often, because they don't. I shoot here every night. I never have a problem. It's just when come that competition, you know, how many people will have their RRS fall apart? How many people will have things go wrong, have points come out in targets? It is very, very common. Very common. And like, how many people snap a string in a tournament? They can be shooting every single day and they come to that tournament, their string snaps. It's a regular occurrence. When you go to a tournament, you see a failure that puts a person out. So when you finish, you go, that's good, because often you don't finish. So I'm going to say that I finished most shoots. Once my mirror came out in the state clout championship and they stuck it back in, but that lost me the event. But I'm happy when I finish, okay? Because it's like the bow is all together, because you don't know this is going to snap when it falls off. You don't know that. You get to the event, when this snapped off, there was no pre-warning sign. It just went boop. It was like, oh, okay. There's no warning sign. It just breaks, right? So anyway, I'm Stephen Hand from Archery Supplies. That's the Bicaster. I really, really like this sight pin, even though it's broke. Even though it broke. Now, back in the old days, compound sights used to be 832 thread. And then what they did, they changed to 1032 thread to stop them snapping. But then the 1032 thread would still snap, so then they went to the big bolt system to stop it breaking. So if you change this to a 1032, you'll probably never have a problem because there's not enough weight on this, right? That's another thing you could do, but I'll just be bolting it, and I'm going to suggest that 99% of people will never have this problem. So anyway, I'll leave you with that, but I really like the sight. It literally is my favorite sight pin I've used to date, and I am using the XL at the moment because I was like, well, let's try this. It's 0.29. It's red, this was green, let's try it, and I try stuff. So anyway, I'll leave you with that. Thanks for watching. Bye.